I have often said on this channel, I don't actually have a problem with immigration as long as it's legal, controlled, and the individual who is arriving is there to become a pillar of his or her community. However, the UK in particular has a huge issue with it, as it's not controlled, some of it's not legal, and some of the individuals that are coming offer nothing to the country. Now, control is a big thing, as every city in Europe almost looks the same. I mean, when I visit Paris, I want to see Parisian culture and French people, not the same I see in London. Now a black Muslim has set the record straight on immigration in a video that has gone viral. Let's check it out, but first hit the like and subscribe button and join our fast-growing community. Roll the clip.
With immigration, right? You know how when you travel, one of the best things is that you get to experience new cultures and new traditions. The problem with immigration is that every single country is becoming the same, and the West is a perfect example of this. You go to London, you go to Paris, you go to Berlin, it's full of immigrants who are all from the same race, or they all look the same, or they're all from the same religion. And this is coming from a black man who is a Muslim, right? If I go to Spain, or if I go to France, or if I go to Germany, I don't want to see a bunch of Muslims who are brown and look like myself. What I want to see is some white-skinned Christians. Why? Because that is that country's tradition and their culture. So immigration is actually making every single country the same. And then what's going to happen is that every single person is going to think the same way, be the same colour, think the same, and all people are going to lose their individuality.
What are your thoughts on this clip? Let me know in the comments. In other news, German Chancellor Olaf Scholz has hinted at a new migration deal with the UK as Sir Keir Starmer faces pressure to loosen routes to Britain. The Prime Minister, who joined Scholz in Berlin, is hoping to reset relations with the Brussels bloc post-Brexit. Germany's new relationship with the UK will see London and Berlin become interconnected at many levels, ensuring Europe is emboldened in other blocs such as NATO. However, migration remains a major issue on the lips of voters and MPs. The German Chancellor said, "The contact between our societies, between Germans and people in the UK, has declined massively after Brexit and the COVID-19 pandemic. We want to change that, because if you know each other well, you want to support each other better. We share similar views on this, and that is why we want to intensify the exchanges between Germany and the UK." However, Starmer was forced to dismiss speculation about a return of free movement for under-30s, and later rejected the prospect of the UK rejoining the Erasmus scheme. Belgium's Brexit-bashing former Prime Minister Guy Verhofstadt described the UK's decision to leave the EU as an example of years of rot, and urged the Prime Minister to undo the decision to restore opportunities to young people. However, ex-Brexit Minister Lord Davy Frost warned, "But Starmer's ambition is not to turn a corner on Brexit. It's to reopen all the arguments and to renegotiate the trade and cooperation agreement in a way that starts making us subject to EU law once again. That's not moving on, it's moving back." The Prime Minister said, "We do not have plans for the youth mobility scheme, but we do have plans for a closer relationship between us and the EU as part of that reset." Explaining his plan for a reset in more detail, Starmer stressed, "That does not mean reversing Brexit or re-entering the single market or the customs union, but it does mean a closer relationship on a number of fronts, including the economy, including defence, including exchanges." Brexiteers have warned the Labour leader would look to relinquish the UK's newfound independence. However, Starmer is keen to stress he wants the UK to turn a corner on the Brexit debate. The Prime Minister, who opened his remarks by expressing his condolences to the 3 people killed and 8 injured in last week's knife attack in Solingen, also explained how Anglo-German cooperation could curb channel crossings. Starmer said, "We will also deepen cooperation on shared social challenges, for example on illegal immigration, because we can't smash the smuggler gangs that perpetrate this vile trade without the help of our partners." The UK will now develop a joint action plan with Germany to deal with illegal migration. Scholz and Starmer were keen to stress the importance of Anglo-German unity on the world stage, particularly with Russia's continued invasion of Ukraine. The conflict in the Middle East was also raised as the pair agreed on Israel's right to self-defense, provided it was compliant with international humanitarian law. Starmer lauded the Anglo-German Accord as a once-in-a-generation treaty. The Prime Minister added, "A new agreement, a testament to the depth and potential of our relationship, with deeper links on science, technology, development, people, business, culture, a boost to our trading relations." Scholz also said, "The both of us will be working hard to ensure that this relationship continues to thrive." In other news, more than 20,000 migrants have crossed the English Channel illegally so far this year, we can reveal. The grim milestone was reached this morning, as hundreds more made the journey in small boats from France. It follows a busy day on Tuesday, as official figures show that 526 people arrived illegally in UK waters in 8 dinghies. This morning, the first small boat was intercepted by a Border Force vessel in the early hours, and around 50 people were taken to the migrant processing centre at Dover Harbour. By mid-morning, several hundred migrants were in the middle of the channel, heading for the UK. The Border Force vessel Defender was first into Dover with 95 people on board. GB News Kent producer estimated up to 11 small boats were in the channel on Wednesday and heading for UK waters. If all make it, it could mean more than 650 migrants will have arrived in the UK in a single day, the highest one-day total since Labour came to power. That figure also takes the total number who have crossed illegally so far this year to almost 20,500. That number is more than two-thirds of the way to the total for the whole of last year. Maritime security sources have told GB News that the UK was on target to significantly outstrip the 29,000 people who arrived by small boat in 2023. One source said, "There's no doubt at all that the UK will see significantly more Channel migrants arriving by the end of this year compared to last year." Fortunately for the government, we've had a week of stormy weather in the Channel, which has prevented small boat crossings, or we'd have been at 20,000 a week ago. And we're currently in the busiest part of the year, where mostly flat, calm conditions allow for hundreds to cross every day. Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer has vowed to go after the people smugglers and smash the gangs. Labour last week announced an additional 100 investigators were being recruited by the National Crime Agency to pursue the organised crime groups responsible for the multi-million pounds illegal trade. On his first day in office, the new Prime Minister scrapped the previous government's deterrent scheme to send small boat migrants to Rwanda for processing. Speaking in Berlin this morning, Sir Keir doubled down on his decision to dump the scheme. He told a news conference, "I have long said before the election that I thought the Rwanda scheme was a gimmick, which is why we stood it down immediately. But nonetheless, it is vitally important that we take back control of our borders. I have long been convinced that the most effective way to do that is to take down the gangs that are running the vile trade of putting people in dangerous situations across Europe and across the Channel. And I said before the election that I would invest political capital in making sure that we could work more effectively with our partners in taking down those gangs. And that's why I'm very pleased today that we've had a substantive discussion, agreed to a joint action plan, and that will, as you would expect, deal with issues like data sharing, intelligence sharing, what we can do on joint operations. Because that is the way to take effective action in relation to the vile trade that sits beneath irregular migration across Europe, and in particular, sits beneath the vile trade of putting people into small boats across the Channel. What are your thoughts on the clip we shared with you? Let me know in the comments. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, then please hit the like and subscribe button and join our fast-growing community. Take care. Goodbye.